We are back with another news video, and I know there were some awkward points where I didn't really know where I was going with it last video, but I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about injury updates on talent when you don't really have much to talk about. Or when you don't really know much about the injuries. But what I can say is, WWE does not just have interest in Hikuleo from New Japan. Apparently, WWE also has interest in Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga has been one of the most decorated champions in New Japan history, in my opinion. Multiple-time tag team champion and the current never openweight champion, defeating Carl Anderson at Wrestle Kingdom 17. Tama Tonga, I mean, for legitimate reason, Tama Tonga is somebody that WWE is said to be interested in, and this is not the first time that WWE is interested in the former Bullet Club member. But this is also the first time that Tama has been, to my knowledge, it is the first time that Tama has been a babyface since his debut in New Japan. So, maybe he would like to see where this run goes. I'm not saying that he would turn down a WWE debut, but maybe WWE can work something out with New Japan to have him, be there for the Rumble, or work something out. Because also WWE has not done anything with Pro Wrestling Noah, and to my knowledge, Pro Wrestling Noah is owned by Bushiroad, the same people that own New Japan. So if they can work out something with Bushiroad for sending Nakamura to Pro Wrestling Noah and allowing him to compete for Pro Wrestling Noah, then maybe we could see somebody from New Japan as a surprise in the Royal Rumble. But also, you want to talk about a WWE concept, the Fight Pit match will be making an appearance in Impact Wrestling, as Impact Wrestling has Speedball Mike Bailey going against Kenny King at its next set of tapings in a pit fight match, after Kenny King launched an attack on some of Mike Bailey's students on a recent episode of Impact Wrestling. Speedball Mike Bailey tore down the house to end 2022 in a nearly hour-long match with an Impact Wrestling World Champion, Josh Alexander. So Speedball has been upping his stock in Impact Wrestling, and Kenny King has always had the potential to show that he could be a superstar, but has, in my opinion, has had a difficulty of putting everything together. But either way, that should be a fantastic match between two skilled in-ring performers. Speaking of a nice surprise and a fantastic match, the JAS actually made an appearance at Pro Wrestling Guerrillas Battle of Los Angeles Night 2 over the weekend in an 8-man tag team match. It was, I believe, from what I understand, Jericho, Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia, and 2.0 going against Kevin Blackwood, Jonathan Gresham, and, well, two other people whose names escape me. And let me pull up the story. It was Daniel Garcia, Sammy Guevara, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker with Chris Jericho in a 10-man tag team match. I do apologize. But also Jake Hager, and Anna Jay, and Tay Mello were all there in attendance, as Jonathan Gresham, Evil Uno, SB Kento, Michael Okuno, and Kevin Blackwood competed in the 10-man bout. Jericho making his debut in Southern California's top independent promotion. And also, after the match, Jericho made a point to mention that he viewed PWG as the ECW of the modern era based on crowd interaction and the fact that PWG is known for giving young wrestlers the opportunity to perform in front of very intense and very interactive audience members. Jericho said that this may not be the last time that you see the JAS in PWG, or maybe it will be. And not just the JAS, but maybe Chris Jericho as well. I don't remember the last time Jericho debuted in, made his presence felt in an independent wrestling show. So that was a nice surprise, in my opinion, and something that was completely unexpected. As it was said that they treated the match as a very serious match, and it was super entertaining, or like a major match. And it was super entertaining, according to Dave Meltzer, who normally reports on the PWG shows. Also a Pretty Deadly update, or now to a Pretty Deadly update, as Kit Wilson and his tag team partner were in attendance for the house shows over the weekend, and each member of Pretty Deadly fought in a singles match against Kofi Kingston that was said to be very well received from those in attendance as far as WWE management is concerned, and that the talent did very well. And you may wonder why they competed in singles matches against Kofi Kingston. Well, the reason is because Xavier Woods is nursing injuries, as I talked about in the previous news video. As I spoke about in the previous news video, that's why they competed in singles matches. There is no discussion of Pretty Deadly getting called up, but there is also no word on whether or not they're going to be competing tonight at the Raw tapings, because typically before Raw is main event, and typically on main event, that's when the NXT talent are shown off on the main roster. So we'll see if later tonight Pretty Deadly compete on main event or not this week. That again is not going to give an indication on whether or not the company is going to make the move to bring Pretty Deadly up, but it would give an indication on if they want to take a closer look at the two top tag team wrestlers in a actual tag team match as opposed to just singles competition. The last update I wanted to give before we go is Kurt Angle said on a recent edition of his podcast that his daughter Juliana actually saved his life during a recent trip in a recent family vacation in Florida. Him and his daughter, that being Kurt Angle Kurt Angle and his daughter were on a jet ski during their vacation in Miami when the jet ski flipped over, as the former WWE champion did not put the accelerator on during the maneuver, and the watercraft ultimately flipped over, throwing him and his daughter into the ocean. And unfortunately, even with his safety vest on, the safety vest was not working and Kurt was still sinking, and he can't swim. So he couldn't get above the water, and he was drowning. His daughter, who is fortunately a skilled Olympic swimmer, luckily kept her composure, and when it went to save her father, and with her father in her hand, or carrying her father, swam 50 yards to retrieve their jet ski, carrying her father, and they got to the jet ski, and due to weakness from his well-documented neck issues, Kurt couldn't get back on the jet ski, so his daughter had to push him up on the jet ski, and then they got back to land safely. So thank God his daughter was with her, and thank God his daughter was as skilled as an Olympic, as he says, thank God my daughter is an Olympic caliber swimmer. Otherwise, we may have been reporting very, very tragic news. Thank God his daughter was there. Thank God his daughter was able to save him, because we would have been, otherwise we would have been reporting some tragic news that nobody wanted to hear about, or nobody would want to hear about. But great job. I applaud Juliana Engel for saving her father's life and being able to keep her composure in a situation like that. Because I don't know if everybody would have been able to, if most people would be able to keep their composure in a situation like that, in a life or death situation like that, and being able to save her dad, swim 50 yards to push him back up on the jet ski to get back to land, is just a testament on her skills in the water and maybe the adrenaline that was pumping through her veins to save her dad in that moment. So I think that's the best way possible to end this story. I will put the story down in the full story down in the description from Wrestling Inc. But with that being said, if these have been my thoughts on wrestling on every subject possible in the news cycle today, and if you have any thoughts or any comments on anything I spoke about in any of these news videos, or anything that you would like to hear my opinion on, please let me know down in the comment section below. Either way, this is it for me today, and I will see you in the next video.